Good day to you. Welcome. We are live. We are at STENY'S Tavern, Second and National in downtown Milwaukee. Walker's Point technically is where you can find it, and we are so glad. Got a little bit of a crowd here. We're so glad you're with us today, and a tremendous place, tremendous fun, a lot of good people down here. It's the lunch hour, and we're going to show you a little bit of a walk around coming up here in just a little bit. There's a lot to get to today as we get ready for Super Bowl coming up this Sunday. Super Bowl Sunday taking place. We've got weather coming to Milwaukee, and we've got bitter cold coming to the state of Wisconsin, and really, for the most part, the upper Midwest. But my name is Bill Michaels. Welcome to the Bill Michaels Podcast. Today I was supposed to be joined by Chuck Friedman, who was with me the other day, but because of the weather and the impending freezing rain and the nastiness, I'm like, you know what, just you got a little bit of a ways to go to get here, so go ahead and take it easy. Stay home. There's no reason to come down here. But first and foremost, I want to say thanks to all of our friends that support the program. We are brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the Bill Michaels Sports Talk Network and the Bill Michaels Podcast as well. So I want to say thanks to them for being a part of the program and for hanging out with us. Thanks to you for joining us down here today as well. And a tremendous place. If you've never been here, it is it's kind of like the Cheers of Milwaukee is what I've always called STENY'S. STENY'S is kind of like the Cheers of Milwaukee. It's a big, long bar, and it's at some point or another, everybody's been here. Everybody comes here. You get weekends where you're going to start out and have some dinner down here. Maybe you're going to take one of the shuttles to the games, whether it's the Brewers or the Bucks or heck, even the Packers, driving up to a Packers contest. They do it for Marquette. They do it for Admirals. They do it for just about every sporting event here in Milwaukee. And then at some point or another, then everybody ends up, at the game and what have you. And then they all end up back here. And it's just it's a great time. So anyway, here at STENY'S, Second and National in Walker's Point. So a lot to get to. So first and foremost, I want to step back from kind of the sports vernacular for a second, because I do want to get into the questions about Aaron Rodgers. Okay. And Andrew already hit it. I love it. By the way, if you want to respond, I can see what you're tweeting, what you're posting, all that kind of stuff right here on our chat board. And he hit it. This was the question. Okay. Andrew says, let's get to the important thing right now out of the way. How do you feel about Aaron's new girlfriend? Miss Woodley will say. I gotta be honest. I don't care. Here's the thought on this is that he apparently has been dating her for a while. See, when he broke up with Danica, people said, well, it's a renewed vigor for life and he feels great. And this is the reason. No girlfriend distraction is the reason he's having such a good season. And then you find out he's been dating somebody for a while. Now, she necessarily hasn't been here the entire time, apparently, from what I understand, and I'm not one to sit there and watch TMZ all the time, but she was in Montreal making a movie and she's been gone. And so anyway, well, that's great. If Aaron's got a new love interest, remember back when Aaron was doing the Pat McAfee show early on in the season, they said, Aaron, what has changed? Why did David Bakhtiari say it's like a new guy, why? And he said, I've got a new perspective and love for life. Well, was he talking about the girlfriend or was he talking about a realization? We don't know. I mean, unless you specifically ask him and then he gives you all the details, which Aaron doesn't do that. That's not Aaron's way of doing things. He doesn't give you all the details. So I'm not going to say it's this new love in his life or a new love for life, but nevertheless, good for Aaron Rodgers. So anyway, I'm glad we got that out of the way, right? We don't have to go on and on about that. Right? Andrew says, and follows that up with an RELAX. That's not bad. So anyway, a lot of different things to get to today. And we are broadcasting live down here at STENY'S Tavern. STENY'S Tavern, voted Milwaukee's best sports bar. Great people, great staff down here. And like I said, it's gotten a lot more crowded since we got here early. We took a little bit of a walk around today with the video cameras, and we'll show you that coming up here in just a little bit. But anyway, I wanted to at least let you take a look. As a matter of fact, I can do this because I do Want to express that they're good people. A lot of great times down here. Eclectic mix of people, young, old, every race, ethnicity, whatever it happens to be. We all hang out down here, and it's all a lot of fun. Second and National in Walker's Point. So if you want to stop by for lunch, you're good to go. There's a little bit of look at the crowd, and like I said, about 10 minutes ago, there's about 5 people in here, and it's continued to gather, and it's, like I said, a lot of fun. Good place to come, good place to hang out. So, anyway, now we get back to the Jordan Love comments. Jordan Love talks about sitting behind Aaron Rodgers and sitting behind Aaron Rodgers to learn. What has he learned in his first year and what his thoughts are about his career and this and that. Look, Jordan Love is a backup quarterback. Jordan Love is a guy that is to just absorb. He's the beer sponge. If you want to put it in the Wisconsin drinking vernacular, he's the beer sponge. He is expected to absorb as much as he can from Aaron Rodgers and Matt LaFleur, and he's expected to be ready just in case Aaron Rodgers, God forbid, should go down. Okay? So that's it. Now, because of his choice and where he was chosen in the draft and such, he's expected to be really good really fast. I'm not saying he won't be, but I'm certainly saying that I'm not getting rid of Aaron Rodgers anytime soon. And I think the realization, and the reason I bring this up, the realization is this on Jordan Love's part. Aaron Rodgers just went out and had an incredible season, right? Guy's winning the MVP. I don't think there's any doubt about it. Taking home the MVP. So if he's going to take home the MVP, then what is Jordan Love thinking? Why in the world would the Packers get rid of him after next year? So Jordan Love's going, oh, my career is off to a inauspicious start, right? Because what am I going to do? Where am I going to go? That's a great question. Because he's not going to be the Packers starter anytime soon. I can't fathom it. Mark Murphy said we wouldn't be that stupid. And he's right. They wouldn't be. Why would they be that stupid? Why would you just chuck an MVP to the curb for an untested, unproven quarterback that you haven't seen a lot out of in practice? He's made some good throws. I mean, just again, from what you hear, because we are not privy as reporters and such have been in the past, to be able to see Jordan Love put through the paces. So if you can't see it consistently and they're not showing you anything, and then what you do see is kind of like, oh, okay, he looks like a quarterback, but, you don't know. Marcus Mariota looked like a quarterback too. How many quarterbacks have we seen? Carson Wentz looked like a quarterback too. I think personally Carson Wentz is a better quarterback than Jordan Love, skill set wise coming into the NFL. And look where Carson Wentz is at. He started out really well, and then every time he got hurt, it was Nick Foles that took over and really took that team to the next level. So when they picked Jordan Love, look, I didn't have a lot of expectation. Still don't. I think Jordan Love doesn't have a lot of expectation as far as seeing the field goes. Now, if history repeats itself, this upcoming season would be the season that Aaron Rodgers may end up injured. God, knock on wood that it doesn't happen. And then you're going to see Jordan Love. But at this point in time, I think they trust Tim Boyle more, which is why Tim Boyle was second on the depth chart, which is why Tim Boyle wasn't inactive all season long. Jordan Love was. I just think that Jordan Love is going through the realization of, hey, I might not be long for this green and gold world. You know what I mean? And I think that's a very realistic expectation. I had a question the other day after we got off the air, and it was when you met Aaron Jones, wasn't he represented by somebody else? And the gentleman got into a discussion with me. Yes, he was. When I met Aaron Jones was repped by Lee Steinberg's agency. Okay. Lee Steinberg, really upstanding, good guy. Remember, Lee Steinberg is the guy that made the movie Jerry Maguire about. He went to the pinnacle. I mean, he was repping all kinds of guys, repping stars. And then it was the usual downfall of money. Okay. It's the partying. It's everything that goes with it, with that lifestyle. And it just brought him down, Then he had to pick himself up and rebuild his agency and his representation all over again, which he's done. And I remember to this day, sitting years ago. We were at Super Bowl on Radio Row, and Lee Steinberg's walking by, and he comes over, and I've known Lee for quite some time, and he says, "Hey, Bill," and he said, "Have you interviewed my guys?" And I said, "Who are your guys?" He said, "Well, I got a running back. His name's Aaron Jones, pretty good guy." And I looked at him, I'm like, "That guy's kind of small, you know?" I've got another one over here, and they're walking around together with their parents, Jamal Williams. And so we interviewed both of them when they were before they had even hit the combine. They were just walking around trying to get interviews, trying to say hi to people. And he gave me that wink and a nod and said, you may want to interview these guys. And we did. And sure enough, they became Green Bay Packers. And look at what Aaron Jones has been able to accomplish since. So for Aaron Jones to jump ship and then go to Drew Rosenhaus, I've said this all along. Lee is a pretty reasonable guy and a good guy to work with. He's redeveloped himself into the kinder, gentler, upstanding guy. Whereas Drew Rosenhaus, he's hell-bent on taking you public and getting you as much money, and he's going to put you on the open market. And so the question became, and I guess the roundabout way of getting to this is, do you think that Aaron Jones has a legitimate shot at re-signing with the Green Bay Packers? Do I have that thought? Yeah, I mean, he could re-sign. It wouldn't shock me. But if I had to put a likelihood as to where he's going, whether it's to free agency and somewhere else or the Green Bay Packers, all day long with Drew Rosenhaus, he's looking for more money and to go to the open market and make more money elsewhere because the Packers are only offering him so much. So anyway, that's a long story about the introduction to Aaron Jones, his representation, and where he is today, and he's earned it. I don't take away anything from what Aaron Jones has accomplished thus far in his career, because he has been absolutely fantastic. And when you watch him, I've said this time and time and time and time again, when you watch him to the eyeball test, that cat's got it going on. He's got a different gear. He's got a different jump. He's got a different jump cut, a step, a burst, all the things that as a coach you're looking for, because he hits the hole and he's gone. Whereas it takes bigger, stronger, grinder, north-south runners, they got to get it going. You know what I mean? He's right out of the cannon. So there's a difference there. And Aaron Jones has not only become a better running back, but he's a far better pass blocker in blitz pickup. And he is a really good receiver out of the backfield. And you can't take that away from the guy. And those skill sets that he worked on so hard, not only his body, but his skill sets have earned him a lot of money. So yes, he did change representation. That's the direction that he went, and kind of rehashing old news. But I don't think he's going to be back with the Green Bay Packers. Just if I was a betting man, I don't think I'd bet my house on it. But if I was a betting man, I would probably say, it's more than likely, at least to me, that he is not going to end up with the Green Bay Packers. So anyway, that's the Aaron Jones thought process through this whole thing. Again, we are broadcasting live down here at STENY'S. If you want to get a hold of me, you can do so. Simply go to thebillmichaels@gmail.com. That's thebillmichaels@gmail.com. And I also want to remind you to subscribe on YouTube and subscribe and like and continue to boost those likes over on YouTube and on Twitch. You can find me on Twitch as well, which is a new streaming platform. It's not in the world of apps and such. It's new. But it's been around a little while anyway. But you can find me on Twitch as well. But go to YouTube and you can subscribe there. Just Bill Michaels Show and Bill Michaels over on Twitch. Obviously on the Facebook fan page, you can find me there as well. And we appreciate you taking a listen to us so much. But again, down here at STENY'S today, terrific place. Walker's Point, voted Milwaukee's best sports bar by far. But if you want to get food, you want to get information about the place, all you got to do is hit up STENY'Stavern.com. That's STENY'Stavern.com. And just say hello. They're good people down here. So I'll give you a little bit of a look around as they continue to get a few more people into the place. And a couple more things that I want to address. Oh, by the way, I wanted to get into this as well. And we had not really had a chance to chat about it. But by the way, how crazy do you have to be? How stupid, I guess, do you have to be if you're going to invite a barber into your facility and have them cut your hair? And oh, by the way, the barber could possibly have COVID. Come on. That's really kind of the big story, isn't it, regarding the Super Bowl? It's like, are you kidding me? How do you do that? Andy Reid is such an incredibly smart coach. How do you do that? You know, how do you invite them in and bring in a barber to cut your guy's hair, and he hasn't fully been vetted? You know, the one thing, you have 2 weeks. You're almost across the finish line. You don't have your starting tackles. You're down a little bit offensively. You're playing Tom freaking Brady in the Super Bowl. And there's 2 things you have to do. 2. That's it. Don't get outside of the complexes and get caught with a hooker or making it rain or anything like that. And then the second thing is, don't bring anybody in that's going to risk the health of this team. Nobody wants to test positive for COVID. And you bring, look, I guess for whatever reason, guys want their hair to look good. This is not a normal Super Bowl, right? This is not a Super Bowl where you're doing the big opening night and Radio Rows and you're doing things in front of the microphone. No, it's podcasting and it's Zoom pressers and all that kind of stuff. And what are you doing? What are you doing? You know, I mean, I can't fathom for the life of me why you are bringing in a barber that has not been fully vetted and you're putting him in touch with your guys to cut hair. Cutting hair, in my opinion, at least, is the least of your worries. It's about getting, and maybe they're feeling comfortable because they're the reigning champions. Hey, we've been here, done that. This time we go through this, we want to look good doing it, right? We want to feel good. We want to have it going on. And you bring in a guy that's positive for COVID. I don't know. It's beyond comprehension to me. I can see if a player is with their family and maybe somebody in their family contracted it, and you're like, oh God, I wish the family around me would have been a little more responsible. But you're bringing a guy in. Yeah, come on in. We want to look good when we pop that helmet off. So in case we win and the confetti's flying, we're putting our hat on for that brief 14-second period from the time we take our helmet off to the time we put on that Super Bowl championship hat, we look good. Didn't make sense to me. So anyway, it's just completely crazy. Okay, whatever. Hey, couple of different things I wanted to get into today. Hey, the Brewers as well. We cannot miss out on the Brewers. The Brewers have gone out and gotten Colton Wong, and that's a big deal. I know some people are kind of poo-pooing it. I'm not. The Brewers going out and getting Colton Wong is, first of all, there is your off season. That's your Brewers off season. Unless the Brewers go out and make some kind of other stunning move, that's your Brewers off season right there. Okay. Colton Wong gives you a Gold Glove up the middle. Which Keston Hiura, you would assume at this point, going to be going over to first base. Now, Keston Hiura is listed, I think, about 6 foot, but when you stand next to Keston Hiura, he certainly doesn't look 6 foot. He looks more like he's just under. I mean, I don't know. He's like to my chin. I'm 6'5"-ish, somewhere in there. 6'4", 6'6", I don't know, depending on what shoes I'm wearing. But Colton Wong doesn't look like he's here. He's here, So not a big first baseman. But, hey, you go back years and years and years, and they had Richie Sexson, and he was big, and Eric Thames, he was certainly big. But Prince Fielder wasn't big. Prince Fielder wasn't a really tall cat. And as long as you got dexterity with your feet over there, and you've got a good ability to scoop the ball, this prevents, Keston Hiura from throwing the ball. That's for damn sure, because he's proven that his accuracy from second base is not that good. And Colton Wong does it as well as anybody. So you have solidified up the middle. Now, I think this might take them out of the running for third base. When he's talking about Justin Turner, I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, it still does. And if it does, holy mackerel, that's an unbelievable offseason for the Milwaukee Brewers. But a team that's losing between 60 and, what'd they say, 60, 70, 80 million bucks or something like that, I can't imagine they're going to go out and spend a ton more money. However, here's something to think about. The Bucks are getting fans in the stands, 20, 25%. eventually they're going to open up Miller Park, right? Or, I'm sorry, American Family Field. So if you're going to start getting fans in the stands and you get Colton Wong for 2 years, if you win it, usually the residual comes the year after. You start to make that money back, and people are going to be itching to go to baseball games this year and next year specifically, because we should hopefully, by God, we should hopefully be back to a normal opening day in 2022. However, that is if we have a season in 2022. This is going to, after this season culminates, it's the nuclear winter for Major League Baseball. We've had a long time of labor peace. And Bud Selig was truly to be commended for keeping labor peace. You know, think about it. Go back since the early 90s and the loss of that World Series, we have had labor peace. It's not going to be that way anymore, which is the reason that the players basically rejected, and I told you this, the players rejected the proposal to push back the start of the season, and they didn't want to give in on the expanded playoffs. And you're like, well, why? I mean, it benefits them. Then more guys can get in the postseason. And, you know, it does, but here's the caveat to all of that. What the Players Association feels is that if you have more teams with the ability to make the playoffs, you're less likely to, because if you just need to get in versus you got to get in with a limited amount of teams, and if you're going to expand the playoffs, it makes it a little easier for teams to get in, which makes it a little less likely that some teams are going to go spend big money on the lefty, on the pitchers. They may just go get another bullpen guy or another bat, you know, another 265, 270 hitter, rather than spending $35 million on an arm, you know, in an arms race to get you to the postseason. That could be the thought process here. So they feel that it's at least going to diminish or take the luster off of the free agent and the money market if you expand the playoffs. Because the players in the first round of the playoffs anyway aren't seeing that money. The owners get it. The owners want that money. Now, on the opposite side of the spectrum, the owners are claiming, well, we lost tens of millions of dollars. And they did. You know, not only for a team like the Brewers, who rely so much on the gate, the revenue coming from fans walking through the turnstiles, but then there's revenue sharing to think about. You know, the big market teams that spend a lot of money, that make a lot of money, they don't make that money. They didn't make that money this past year. Nobody did. So there's not revenue to share. You know, so the Brewers lose out doubly. Teams like the Brewers, the Reds, the Pirates, you know, these small market teams, they lose out twice as bad. So, and the Brewers specifically being the smallest media market, television market in all of baseball, it hurts, you know. So for them to go out and spend that kind of money, $9-10 million bucks, I give them credit. They're doing something. And Colton Wong is not going to light it up offensively. He's 265, 275 type of hitter. He's going to get, but he does give you some power. So if you have cured the first base problem, if you did, and you have power in Keston Hiura. Now, it seems like most players had a down season last year during COVID, okay? But if you get back to some of those numbers, you get some fans in the stands, you get a little energy, a little juice flowing, right? You know, Keston Hiura, you hope that power that we saw when he came up as a rookie, hopefully that comes back. You know, hopefully Arcia, instead of hitting the 210, 220, he gives you the 250, 260. And Colton Wong gives you the 265, 275. Christian Yelich comes back to being Christian Yelich, and then you've got Lorenzo Cain coming back. And you've got a decent stable of arms. You've got some arms. You know, do you have Clayton Kershaw there? No, come on. But you got some serviceable arms. And if you go back to scoring runs at the rate you were scoring runs, plus Colton Wong is a lefty, and he adds additional, I'm not quite sure where they're going to bat him, but he will add some additional protection for Christian Yelich, but a lefty, which you were bereft of, this helps. This is a good move. I don't see a lot of downside to this move. And if I'm a Brewers fan, and I am, I'm sitting there going, nobody in the National League Central is doing anything. You know, Arenado, he goes to the St. Louis Cardinals, and, you know, give them credit, man. They vaulted themselves to the top. They become kind of the front runner. Chicago, without admitting it's in the middle of a rebuild. You know, they're going to call it retooling or whatever, but they've just said, to hell with it. A lot of money has gotten us, what, one World Series? And I know if you're a Cubs fan, you're going, all that money, we got one World Series. But it took you, since Moses was bringing 2x2s into this area, to win a World Series. So I don't care what they're doing. You're like, thank God we got one. Because the Brewers fans are sitting there going, you know what? We've been around a while, not as long as the Cubs, but we don't have one. So it's good to see the Brewers doing something. Is it enough? I don't know if it's enough. I don't know, but who knows? Hey, I was telling you that our good friends here at STENY'S, good people, if you want to take a look around to see everything that they have to offer, there you go. Down here at Walker's Point. Just come on in, say hello. Natalie's bartending today. Beautiful young lady, and they always have a terrific staff down here, whether it's Melissa or Brittany or anybody else. Ryan's usually here. JoJo's here. They're a big-time hockey bar, by the way. Big-time hockey bar. Blackhawks, Red Wings bar, and you can see they have some pond hockey championships here as well. But you can come down here and check out all the sports, big, spacious area, and through those doors is the patio, and they've got a heated patio out back as well, which is undercover and just really, really cool. But like I said, you can catch all the shuttles and all the different to all the different sporting events in Milwaukee. Once we get back to that, but TVs everywhere. And then for big games right there, you got the big screen television, a huge selection of beers and spirits and crafts. Obviously, we're brought to you by our friends at Bud Light, but they have the award-winning Bloody Mary. They've been winning championships with this for years. For years, they've been winning that. And there's the Bill Michaels garlic cheese bread. Oh, my God. Don't even eat it. Just take it home, roll around in bed with it, and call it a day. And then, obviously, their wings are just spectacular. So there you go. That is some good stuff from our friends at STENY'S. But a terrific walk around, and we'll show that again throughout the day. But I do want to show you because we continue to get a few more people down here. So it's a good place. It's a great place to come. It's a great place to come and just hang out, meet friends. It's a great place to come and have dinner. And they have some decent music down here. Every now and then they'll put bands in here, but this is where just everybody, like I said, this is like the Cheers of Milwaukee. So you come down here and you gather, you hang out a little bit, and then you go off to wherever it is you're going, and everybody here. So just a little bit of a look around over there at STENY'S. So thanks to them for hosting us today. A terrific sponsor, along with, by the way, the rest of our really, really good sponsors. You got Epoxy Flooring done right. Sean and the gang at Epoxy Flooring are fantastic. They did the floor in my gym, and it went from just the gray basement floor to this just marbleized looking, beautiful, almost it's too nice to be a gym showplace. Dramatically changed the look of the whole room, and I can't recommend them enough. They do polyurea coatings, and they do it all year round, by the way. Garages, basements, whatever it happens to be. And if you want to get a hold of them, go to Epoxy Flooring done right. That is Epoxy Flooring done right, and see Sean and the gang, because they're just really, really good people. So I can't say enough about them. Also, thanks to our friends at Bud Light. Bud Light is the official beer sponsor of the Bill Michaels Sports Talk Network, and Bud Light Seltzer as well. Another tremendous sponsor that's been with us a long, long time. That's Bud Light and all the good people over there. So, and Bud Light Seltzer. Go to budlight.com. That's budlight.com, and see for yourself what I'm talking about, because they're just good stuff over there. I want to get into Major League Baseball and the expanded playoffs, and I wanted to talk about baseball in general. And I know there's a lot of people that are wanting to chime in on all this stuff, and I promise you we're going to get to some of your discussion as we kind of surf around here. But when it comes to baseball, what do you like about it and what do you don't like about it? Has baseball now think about this. Baseball last year had its longest per game average ever. Okay. And baseball has thought about instant play and pitch counts and walk-up clocks and replay time and challenges and all this stuff. And baseball has gotten to the point where it's worrying about time. Okay. So, and I've said all along, quit effing with it. What has ruined baseball, and see if you agree, what has ruined baseball has been sabermetrics. The sabermetrics of the game. The grip it and rip it. Strikeouts, they're okay. They're okay. You know? The shift. Okay. I'm not a fan of the shift, but here's my argument to the shift. If they're shifting on you and you're too incapable or too stupid to learn how to be able to put a ball in play in the opposite direction, you're not a major leaguer anyway. You don't hold a candle to some of the players from years gone by. That's why when you could put players into the Hall of Fame via eras, Tony Gwynn, Pete Rose, the guys that could put it anywhere and everywhere on the field. Wherever you pitched them, that's where they were going with the baseball. They went to the Hall of Fame based upon that. And instead now you got guys that, the only thing I can do is pull the ball. I just got to hope it falls where they ain't. That's kind of the motto of baseball, but when a shift is on and they're giving you a full third of the field, that's a sin. That's a baseball sin. That turns people off to the game. It's not about the length of the game, because if the game and the sport itself is enjoyable, you get entrenched in it. You know, I understand the way we've become. I understand the world that we live in when it comes to technology and looking at our phones and everything's right there. We live in a fast food world that is beyond expedited at this point, okay? I understand that. But when you get involved in a game, games have become events. The event is your friends, not to the hardcore, okay? But to the casual fan, which is what you're trying to bring in. Games have become events. The tailgate, hanging with your friends, the beer, the food, the crafts, things around the ballpark that make you want to say, okay, I'll walk there, I'll go there, I'll see this, I'll do that. It's the event of being there, okay? But ultimately, the product is the product. If you have to worry about whether or not you have craft beer down the third base or the first base line to keep the attention of your fans, your team sucks. Worry about the product on the field. Too many owners, it's too easy to tear them down and spend zero money, $20 million, $30 million, $40 million, when everybody else is up around the $100 million, $200 million mark. The schism in baseball, look, salary cap, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see a floor and a cap, okay? You got to spend somewhere in here to be a viable team. And then maybe you get more competition. You get bigger games. You get exciting innings, exciting pitches. Fans are into it a little bit more. And suddenly what seems like drudgery of 3 hours and 6 minutes becomes a nerve-wracking, adrenalizing moment, an experience that you want to feature night in and night out. You want to be a part of again and again and again as a fan. Make the product better. Don't give me racing beer bottles, and don't give me more ribbon board activity for my eyesight, and the texting the pictures and all that kind of stuff. That's great. Okay, it's fan interaction. I appreciate that. I do. I think there's a place for that. Okay, a legitimate place for that. But the way you get baseball to thrive, this is what you do. If I were commissioner, I'd get replay. I enjoy, but it would be one person in each stadium looking at the video, and then you buzz the home plate umpire if there's a reason to replay it. Otherwise, let it go. Stop having a manager stand at the top of the dugout looking down. What the hell? Hey, turn off porn and go back to that. I want to see what we need. Okay, we need to go out. Okay, don't go ahead and play. That's after like 5 minutes of standing there. Get rid of the challenges. And umpires, and I know players hate it, but you know what? Stepping out of the box, getting a new routine, I appreciate, but you got 20 seconds or 15 seconds per pitch. Go back, gather yourself, look around. If you got to point out some different shifts in your defense or something, okay, I understand that, but something other than just standing there, chewing, spitting, scratching, picking, whatever it happens to be. All right? You just keep the game flowing. All right? And you make the product better. And the rest of that stuff starts to fall into place. I don't know why it's so hard for baseball to get this right. You are one of the most powerful men. Rob Manfred's one of the most powerful men in the country. He's the head of Major League Baseball. Roger Goodell, the head of the NFL. They're very powerful guys, man. They control a mass amount of economy. And you can't be this stupid because it may cost you a little bit of extra money to put one guy in a ballpark with the instant replay sitting here in front of him. A guy that is assigned by every Major League Baseball team or agreed upon by every Major League Baseball team or agreed upon by Major League Baseball. Pay some schmuck to sit there and look at the video. And if it's a bang-bang play, let him look at it real quick. And if he looks at it and says, you know what, I need another set, and it goes down to the umpire, and the umpire goes, whoa, pager's going off. Hang on, time. But if there's no buzz, so be it. Or a light. The light goes off, the red light goes off. Okay, we're going to take a look at this. Give us a second. And then he puts the headset on. Make the game watchable, make the game fun, make the game exciting. Sabermetrics has ruined the game. The grip it and rip it mentality has ruined the game. Okay, so that you're not going to get around because that's play on the field. And I'll tell you what, as fans, here's another thing. As fans, guy strikes out, what do? Oh, boy, we really wanted to have that. No, back in the day, you'd get your ass booed back to the dugout. Oh, don't boo a player. That's not good sportsmanship. Shut up. Shut up. Boo the hell out of a player. If you think that going up there and striking out and taking it out consistently for your team with one home run out of every 10, 20 at-bats is going to cut it, shut up. Boo the hell out of them. Make them feel a little shame when it comes to striking out. Now, if you're up there swinging and gripping and ripping, man, that's one thing. But this launch angle stuff and all, especially, I'll tell you this, especially if a guy hits into the shift, I'd boo the hell out of him. I'd boo the hell out of him. If you hit into the shift and you make an out, I'd boo the hell out of you. I'd say you aren't even the ball player it takes to be a guy that can come up here and actually play Major League Baseball and put a ball and play in the opposite way. Just me, but anyway. I'm on a roll today when it comes to that because I love the sport of baseball. I love the sport of baseball. I think baseball, when I was a kid, I grew up, I think that was really, as much as I enjoyed football, and I played a lot of basketball, but baseball, I think baseball was my very, very first passion. And to sit in the stands and watch a game and be a part of that, even as a kid, when all my other friends were out running around, remember they used to, I don't know if they did it in Milwaukee, but when I was growing up in Cincinnati, they had a thing called Kid Glove Day. It's kind of like the Little League Day. And Kid Glove Day, everybody got tickets on their team. Okay, you got 2 tickets, or you would sell tickets, right? And what you would do is you'd either go out and sell tickets, and the more tickets you sold, the more tickets you got for yourself. That's kind of the way they did it. But I enjoyed that, going with my teammates and my friends. But what I loved even more was, my friends would all run around and the coaches are it's like herding cats with a bunch of little kids. I sat there and watched the game. I knew the scenarios. I knew the strike count. I knew the pitches. I knew everything else that was going on. I knew who was warming up in the pen. I was keeping score, So, but I got that from my mom. My dad worked hard, and my dad wasn't home all the time at night. He didn't get home till 7 or 8 o'clock at night most times. So if I was going to go to a baseball game, my mom took me. And my mom was a huge, huge, huge Reds fan. And part of the problem with Major League Baseball today is you don't have that family dynamic where fathers and sons, mothers and sons, mothers and daughters, fathers and daughters, grandparents, whatever. You're not taking the kids and getting them involved in the sport, in the thought of baseball. And that's been part of the downfall as well. Because you can go and throw a ball against a wall anywhere. You can go in and throw strikes anywhere, Just put up a milk carton or whatever it happens to be. If you hit it, it's a strike, that type of thing. We used to go play, there's 2, 3 of us. We used to go play ball in the yard all the time, up in the schoolyard. It just doesn't happen nearly as much anymore. Not to mention parents don't want to let kids out of their sight. If you can't see Johnny, Charlie, Susie, or Jody, if if they're not within eyesight, then somebody's stolen them, and you got to call 911. And that's kind of the weird world we live in. Unfortunately, I get that, but it's like kids aren't allowed to be kids right now. So you're not cultivating that next enthusiastic crop of fans. So you got to do something, and the only time you can do it is when they're at the ballpark. When they're there, the product has to be better. The moments have to be more exciting. And that's my beef with Major League Baseball. So anyway, I hopefully that explains at least my thoughts. So if I were commissioner, Rob Manfred would never be allowed around another Major League Baseball park as long as he lived. I would demand that if we do have a clock, it's adhered to. It only takes you 2 or 3 times to have a strike called on you or to be called out for you to say, oh, come on. And then be like, can you see the clock? 15, 14, 13. You counting with me? You counting with me? Okay. 12, 10, 9, 8, on down. Okay, you count with me? 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, you're not in the box. See where it says 0 right there? Okay. It says that if you're not being pitched to by that 0, it's a strike. So why are you yelling at me? Because you're the dumbass that has to scratch your jock, put on a batting glove, tighten it 27 times, do the straps, spit, pick your nose, adjust your helmet, grip your bat, look at it 2 or 3 times, lick it, stick it, whatever else you're going to do with it, and then step into the batter's box. That's your fault, not mine. I would first and foremost adhere to that. Secondly, replay, one guy in the booth upstairs. That's it. Thirdly, I would say there's a mandatory floor of $60 million you have to spend and a salary cap of $200 million you can't spend over. Period. Hard cap, that's it. Players will never go for that because they don't give a damn. So, but that would be it. That would be the 2 things I would really go after. After that, do what you want inside the ballpark. Do what you want. Okay? I don't care if you have racing sausages. I don't care if you have adult toy day. I don't care if you have kids pet a Smurf day. It doesn't matter to me. Okay? Whatever you want to do for promotions, go for it. But those are the things that I would do to make baseball speed up, a little more competitive, and a little more watchable without the breaks in between. Because remember, it's over 6 minutes. 6 minutes on average that you're looking without action. Pitch, catch. Walk around the mound, step out of the box, pitch. Okay, 6 minutes of no action. Imagine watching a football game for 6 minutes. And just sit there. There's Rodgers. He's in the huddle. Defense is taking a break. They're getting some water. They're on their knees. Matter of fact, they're all sitting down. They're all sitting down right now. They're all telling some stories, and got about 4 more minutes to go. And think about that. 6 minutes without a ball put in play on average. That's ridiculous. Now, every now and then you do have to be weary of the occasional fly ball, the foul ball that comes back and hits you in the snot locker, but nevertheless, you don't worry about it. So, there you go. It's all about money, my friends. It's all about money. Tom, I completely agree. Completely agree. Roger, you bring up a really good point. Roger says, baseball used to be king. It was about all numbers. 714 home runs, 61 in a season, 56-game hit streak, etc. Steroids minimize the meaning of those numbers, and baseball holds very little interest for me anymore. Also, the game is way too slow and boring. See, the too slow thing, I don't care, because if the game's exciting, if the game's fun, who cares? We'll sit down and watch 3 hours of football. We'll do that in a heartbeat. Baseball, not as much action. I go back to 6 minutes without a ball being put in play. Why? Launch angle. It's no longer swinging on a good level plane. Remember that when you were a kid? Good level swing. Not anymore. Launch angle. Launch angle. Now they get the bat up. So when you hit the ball, it's up because they're more worried about home runs. It's like jacking up threes. The mid-range jumper's gone. It's either inside in the paint, putbacks, jams, dunks, highlights. By the way, if you're 6'9", and you can dunk a basketball, that shouldn't be on the SportsCenter top 10. What's more impressive to me is a good 3 at a buzzer. That's more impressive. But if you're 6'9" and you can't dunk a basketball, that then should be on the highlight. Because in today's day and age, who cares? Everybody's dunking. Oh, look, another dunk. Who cares? It's boring. Dunks are boring. It's like fascist. It's like Bull Durham, you know? Bull Durham. I love that movie, the things that he believes in, you know? There's certain things about baseball, launch angles and stuff. It's great. Look, if you get one every now and then and you just the sweet spot and it's a majestic shot or a laser and it's just right out there over the outfield wall, that's fantastic. But to be doing that and hitting with that mentality all the time when you're really not a power hitter, if you get 19 to 20 home runs, that's considered a big deal in today's day and age. It's like, no. I'd rather see you hit 300, put the ball in play, kick one off that middle portion of center field where it's got those little angles to it, turn a double into a triple, go sliding in head first. Here comes the throw. Everybody's on their feet. Is he safe or out? That's what I want to see. You know, once every 12, 15, 20 at bats, you finally put one over the wall, but the rest of the time you're walking back with your tail between your legs and everybody's going, oh, well, he struck out again. No, boo the hell out of that guy. You can't hit. Boo the hell out of him. There we go. That's my rant. That's my rant. This one is an interesting one. And this one's from Dwayne. It said, hey, buddy, would you trade Hader and we could get something for him? I would. Well, it depends on what you're going to get for him. Are you getting a lot or are you just trading him to trade him? I'll tell you what, it's like with the Packers and Aaron Jones and such. You work this hard and this long to finally get what you want. And then all we're worried about is whether or not we can afford them and trade them away. That's the pain of a small market. That's the pain of a salary cap with Major League, with the NFL. But I appreciate that because then you can still retain really, really, really good players. Or you can make it fit and pay now versus pay later, or pay later after their career goes a little bit, but at least you know you're going for it. This thing of, well, we're not going to be able to sign them, so we're just going to trade them away and hope to get something in return. Look, I don't want prospects. You're giving away a proven guy. Get a proven guy in return. You know, it's all about controllable contracts and controllable time. I get it. So you have the ability to send them down, bring them up, send them down, bring them up. It's all about options. And that's where Major League Baseball is going. Major League Baseball is going for less money, more controllable options, launch angles, sabermetrics. It's ruining the game. There's always going to be a champion. And if your team, now look, we can sit here and bitch, moan, and complain and moan, right? But if the Brewers are in another NLCS and God forbid, say against the Dodgers, win it, we won't give one hootenanny damn about launch angles, strikeouts, who plays up the middle, TV timeouts, picking, scratching, whatever. We will say it's the best thing since sliced bread. But you know what? It'll be about the product on the field. It'll be exciting. Fans will be going to Miller Park in droves, to American Family Field in droves. Because if your team's winning, we don't care. But again, that's what I say. That makes sense. It comes full circle to what our discussion was. If your product is good, people will come. People will show up. If your product sucks, that's the reason you have to have ribbon boards and racing beer bottles and pick the ball under the cap and giveaways and, you know, because if your product's good, people are taking it. You know, think about all the best products over history. You know, some of the things that took off. You know, at first you try to get people to notice it, so you do all those funky things. But once people notice it, you're like, I don't need to do this anymore. People are not only coming to my product, but people are gobbling my product up in droves. I don't have enough of my product to go around, so I don't have to give all this stuff away. So come and see the product. And then when the product gets bad or gets older, gets stale, and then people are back to, well, okay, we're going to go back to some giveaway days, try to generate a little more interest in my product until we make another product that's better or that is as good or has as much success. So I love tradition. I love the racing sausages. I do. That's tradition. That's cool to me. I love Bernie Brewer up in the chalet and sliding down after home runs. Get up, get up, get up, get out of here, gone. Okay, I love that. I appreciate that. That's an inbred history in the fabric of what is the Milwaukee Brewers. But all the other stuff, you know, that's what every other ballpark's trying to do to keep people's interest because we're too busy doing this. You know why? Because the product on the field just isn't that exciting. Just my take. All right. There you go. What else do we got? A couple of things before we go to get out of here. Kenny, hey, you know what? I appreciate it, Kenny. Thanks so much. He says, glad you're back. See you when you get back to Eau Claire. Oh, you know what I had here earlier, and I can't find it right now, and I apologize for that. But the cigar dinners, I had a request for some cigar dinners. And I got to work with our friends at Quick Trip to see if we're going to do them again this year. Pandemic-wise, and everything kind of became a little bit, we'll say, politically incorrect to do by some. Okay? So if we were to do a cigar dinner, there is a private cigar club in Milwaukee that has asked me, would you be interested in, and now granted, one of the things is they're looking for members. If you're looking for a private club to go to smoke cigars, would you be interested? But they came to me and they said, hey, would you be interested in hosting a cigar dinner here? They would supply some food and open their doors up. And it's a really neat place. But would you be interested? So I said, let me kind of put it out there. Would people be interested in coming to a cigar dinner? So I'm thinking about that. So if you want to see a cigar dinner, if you're in the Milwaukee area, it's a private club. But if you would like to see it, maybe you're looking for membership into something like that, let me know. Email me, and you can email me. Where's my email address here? There it is. You can email me thebillmichaels@gmail.com, and maybe I'll start to put it together, and I can send you some more information about it, and we can talk about that, because I think it would be fun to do again. I really do miss doing those. I miss the Q&A. I miss the interaction and such. A couple more here that I want to get to, and yes, for those that are asking. We do have some other things in the pipeline. Yes. This is a good one. Brett says, you worked with Irv Favre. What was your take on Brett's comments on Deshaun Watson? First of all, Brett, when Brett talks, everybody listens, right? Brett is like, whatever could fall out of his mouth. He can be in the bathroom through the door. You don't know what he's doing. And he could just say something even remotely about football, and it would make headlines everywhere. It just would. So when you talk about Deshaun Watson has, and let me talk about this. Rather than Brett's comments, because I agree with Brett. Deshaun Watson he's an up-and-comer. He has made a name for himself. I think he's a pretty quality quarterback. I think if you are inside an organization and you feel it is a craptastic organization and you went out and you've made that name, and all you're doing is saying either one, put it together where we get better personnel. And we're not run like the Cats and Jammer kids. What they did was, when they gave Bill O'Brien all the power, dumbest thing they could have possibly have done. He destroyed what they had going on inside there. But really, it starts with the owner. It's kind of like, if your agent is out there doing all these antics and you're like, oh my God, the agent's saying this, the agent's saying that, and the player's quiet, he represents you. That's who goes out and represents you. He works for you, not vice versa. He makes you money. He puts you in a situation to make money, but ultimately you have the same. It's you, your name, your brand, your market. Deshaun Watson is basically looking at this situation and going, I'm contracted to them. And they own Deshaun Watson. When you come into the league, they own you. They own that contract. You are their property when it comes to commodity. But he's saying, look, this is the Cats and Jammer kids. This is bad. We have seen, look, I grew up in Cincinnati. You want to talk about a dysfunctional organization. Paul Brown ran it like a football team. And then Paul Brown passed it on to Mike Brown. Paul Brown was a coach. He was an innovator. He came into Cincinnati with a chip on his shoulder after Art Modell basically kicked him out of the Browns, the team that was named after him in Cleveland, kicked him out. So he took an upstart team in Cincinnati and started to develop them into something. And then when he kind of got out of coaching, he then turned it over to some people that he felt were qualified, one being Forrest Gregg, the other one being Sam Weish. And they took them both to a Super Bowl. They didn't win it, but so be it. And then Paul Brown got old and said, Mike, you take it. Oh, by the way, it's our only business. It's the family business. They don't have hotels and restaurants and investments in this. And their business is the Cincinnati Bengals. But again, I go back to, if your product on the field is good, people will pay whatever it takes to see it. If your product on the field sucks, and you're basing your product off of your accountant who's back there, he's Marty the accountant, and he's got his visor and his glasses on his nose, and he's flipping the beads, and he's going, well, this is how much we can make if we skimp here and do this. Well, then you're talking about making money rather than actually winning championships. And again, you lose the forest through the trees, because instead of winning the championship and really realizing when you're successful, people will spend more money on your jerseys, on your marketing. You can charge more money for people for things like radio rights and television rights. When you're consistently good, you can make more money. The old adage is you got to spend it to make it, right? So going back to the dysfunctionality of Cincinnati and transferring that over to Houston, Houston's been dysfunctional. They gave Bill O'Brien all the power, and for whatever reason, he just started trading away quality product. He got rid of good product for his own ego. I wanted to, when Bill O'Brien's standing there trying to explain why they got rid of DeAndre Hopkins, I wanted to put the insert of George Costanza the first time he met George Steinbrenner, to say, you have taken our glorious team and all of our fans and turned it into a laughingstock. Why? All for the glorification of your massive ego. That was Bill O'Brien. He was a jackass. He was a moron for what he did to that organization. And it hasn't gotten better. And Deshaun Watson's like, I'm up to here with this crap. We're out here giving our bodies. We're working. We're training. We're eating right. We're doing all these different things. We're hiring trainers. And our body is our work vehicle. And we're trying to put it all together to say we can be the best possible player we can be. Why? Because we want to win a championship. We want to be great. We want our fans to buy into what we're doing. We want all that energy behind us so we can then forge forward, get deep into the postseason, and continue to progress, and ultimately hoist the Lombardi Trophy. And instead, it's like we're down here working our asses off, and up there, they're all sitting around a boardroom table making decisions because none of them can figure out how to fix the freaking Rubik's Cube right. So they're all taking the stickers off to get them back correctly because they're too stupid to figure it out. So he's like, what am I here for? These are morons upstairs. I get it. And other players have done it. Other players in the past have said, look, this is dysfunctional. I want out of here. This is bad. So either fix it or get rid of me. I'm not going to sit here and possibly take a neck shot, a head shot, break a leg, snap it the way Alex Smith did, go through gangrene and go through infection and all the painstaking rehabilitation to come back. And for what? For you morons upstairs that don't know how to get out of your own way because you're a bunch of businessmen. You're not football people making football decisions to figure out how to make a team better and put better personnel around it. Screw that. I respect a lot of players for that because for what they got. Now, there are some players, don't get me wrong, that are not heading off to a Mensa meeting anytime soon. As a matter of fact, if it wasn't for football, chances are then they're maybe taking an order through the clown's nose at your local fast food restaurant or hanging out in the mall, asking you for money. I don't want to say picking up your trash on Wednesdays because I don't want to demean trash collectors. The people that come and collect my trash, I love my guys, man. I'll chat every now and then. They get a little bit late on their route because I'm chatting sports with them at the end of the driveway. They're not morons. They're just hardworking people. So anyway, you get where I'm going with all that, right? Okay. What do we have here before we get out of here? I agree. The shift in baseball sucks. And Joshua, you are 100% correct. Okay. He says, I missed the hit and run, stolen bases, sacrifice bunts. I grew up in the Sosa Maguire era and fell in love with the home runs, but the game today is unwatchable. It doesn't matter if the game was 2 hours, 45 minutes or 3 hours, 15 minutes, if the product doesn't work. And I will 100% agree with you. 100% agree with you. I grew up watching The Art of the Hit and Run, but remember Ricky Henderson stealing bases? I grew up, I watched a team in 75 and 76 in the Big Red Machine. And Pete Rose and Joe Morgan and Ken Griffey, Johnny Bench, Dave Concepcion, Tony Perez, Cesar Geronimo, George Foster, You know, they had power hitters, they had base stealers, they had guys that could put the ball in play, great defensive players, you know, all of that. I appreciated that. And then, you know what? I appreciated watching a guy like Nolan Ryan or Tom Seaver. I appreciated no hitters and the way a pitcher would toil and battle hitters. You know, I appreciate all of that. Yeah, you want to see the ball put in play, but I appreciated, you know, spectacular catches for no hitters and guys going all out as the crescendo of enthusiasm and excitement builds. There's a romance to baseball, and unfortunately, it's not a part of our nomenclature today. Man, we have gotten really into a lot of different stuff today. We really have. Again, we are broadcasting live down here at STENY'S in Walker's Point in Milwaukee here, and it's a fantastic place. Tremendous setting and atmosphere, and a lot of good people down here. And you can call me a regular, I guess, if you want to do that. I've been coming here for a long, long time. But just to kind of show you around the place, STENY'S is tremendous, has been for a long time. And they're just good people. You come on in the door, and there's so many cool things. It's a big old mahogany bar, tons of televisions to watch sporting events, great views outside, just a very eclectic area. They're a big hockey bar down here as well. You can see Ryan, who is Jerry's son, plays pond hockey. They've won pond hockey tournaments down here numerous times. They're up in Twin Lakes, or not Twin Lakes, but Three Rivers, up in that area, up in the Tomahawk area. Big, spacious patio, as you can see right there. And obviously, this is a different look, a different view. But when you have the big screen on the wall with all the other televisions for the big games down here, they have a packed house, tons of beers, not only on tap, but all the specialty craft brews as well. And then there is the world-famous, award-winning Bloody Mary, the STENY'S Bloody Mary. They are so famous for. There's my Bill Michaels garlic cheese bread, by the way, and that stuff is awesome. And their famous wings. So many good things down here at STENY'S, Second and National, Walker's Point. Come on down. And their motto is, you should be here, and you really should be here. Thanks again to everybody, our friends at the Nice Ash, which is a terrific cigar bar out in Waukesha. You've got the guys at J&L Tire Service. Just Lyle and the whole staff out there right off of 94 in the Johnson Creek area. And by the way, if you're a truck driver and you have any issues, they do full tractor trailer tires, truck tires, and trailer repair and truck repair as well. So it's not just a small tire shop. They have a huge operation. Say hi to my buddy Dwayne from Dwayne's Cover It All up in Wausau. Do a lot of great work up there, whether it's upholstery work for chairs and couches and office furniture, or your boat canvases, covers, seats, whatever it happens to be, they can do that. There's our friends at Stoley's Hog Alley out in Oconomowoc and that area, which is the Lake Country area, and that's a great fish fry place on Friday night, or a biker bar, or family oriented. I mean, whatever. If you're just going in there for a drink, whatever it happens to be, really, really good people. And if you're going to ride, there is no better place to ride or go to get a ride than Wisconsin Harley Davidson. Go to wishd.com. That is wishd.com. And they have a tremendous selection of 2021s in stock. They really, really do. There's our friends at Sloppy Joe's on Hubertus, in Hubertus. They have that big giant smoker out there. The food is fantastic, but that is an eclectic, traditional Wisconsin bar. I mean, you walk in there and it drips Wisconsin. So if you're in that area, by all means, stop in. And then there's our friends at Curly's Waterfront Pub and Grill. I was out there last week, and we had such a great time. But Curly's Waterfront Pub and Grill, a tremendous place, a lot of fun. And again, good fish fry right there on Pewaukee Lake. So stop in and say hi to them as well. We are brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the Bill Michaels podcast, the Bill Michaels Show and such. And I'm getting a lot of people that want to know about the announcement. Yes, I keep saying we're close, and we really are. I have to admit that we really, really are. And the thing about it is with announcements, the one thing that you have to understand is that you get legal involved. And when legal and lawyers and attorneys and people that need things and want things and want to work things out and language and such, they're working things out. So that's where it is right now. But I promise you, good things. Promise you, good things are on the horizon. So For all of you that listened to me for so many years, whether it was when I worked with the Packers Radio Network or at WTMJ or on the Bill Michaels Sports Talk Network, I promise you, good things are coming. Promise you that. So again, if you want to get a hold of our friends at STENY'S, all you got to do, STENY'S Tavern, 2nd and National down here at Walker's Point, and you can, just come on down. There's another glimpse, good lunchtime crowd, although it goes down and around off to the left there. We're a little bit tucked in the back, but off to the left, good crowd at the bar. In Milwaukee, still doing a lot of mask wearing down here and still taking care of one another. And we will for a while. And hopefully this coronavirus begins to become a thing of the past and we're all back to normal. But they are very, 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 very CDC compliant down here at STENY'S as well. So if you want looking for a good place, a safe place, a fun place with terrific food, STENY'S at 2nd and National Walker's Point, that's the place to go. And obviously, I love it, and hopefully you will too when you get a chance to come down and say hello. So that is pretty much it. I encourage you to subscribe to the channel and go to the Bill Michaels Show. Find Bill Michaels on the podcast on YouTube, basically Bill Michaels Show. You can find us on the Facebook fan page. Like us, follow us, and do me one favor, if you could, share this. Click on the links, share it with friends, share it with neighbors. Hell, just share it to your pages if you could. We really would appreciate it. I would really appreciate it. We want to continue to grow this and continue to do these. If you are a business and you are considering something like this coming into your business, we would be happy to do it. You can get a hold of me again. The best way to do so is simply shoot me an email. The email is right there on the screen, thebillmichaels@gmail.com. That's thebillmichaels@gmail.com. And we'll see what we can do about coming out to your neck of the woods sometime soon, So that is it. What'd you think? You have a good time? Hopefully you did. Hopefully you 3 people. Thank you very much. But 3 people hanging out with us today. So thanks for coming out. Thank the program. We certainly appreciate it. On behalf of Jerry and Stenny and everybody down here, and Ryan and LJ, and if you do come down to STENY'S, say hi to Jerry. They just had his mother-in-law just passed away, so they had a little bit of death in the family. So not the traditional staff here today that would normally be here. Ryan's off today, JoJo's off today, but everybody's going to be back, and everybody's going to have better, bigger, better, brighter days. But thanks to everybody for hanging out with us and coming out and enjoying the show that are here on site. And thanks to you for paying attention to us. Cannot do it without you. Simply can't. Time for us to go. Have a good one.